Our first topic 1.1 Balance of Rights and Duties. So, during Constitution Day celebrations, Union Law Minister advised the need for the balance between the fundamental rights and fundamental duties. So, the questions might arise in your mind, which are like, when is Constitution Day celebrated and why it is celebrated, and what are these fundamental rights and fundamental duties. So first, as our constitution was adopted on November 26th, 1949, every year on November 26th, we celebrate Constitution Day. Okay, now we will discuss about the fundamental rights and fundamental duties. So here the fundamental rights are under the part 3 of the constitution. Okay, overall how many parts do we have in the constitution? We have 22 parts. Okay, in that 22 parts, third part is about fundamental rights, and they are from article 12 to 35. Okay, there are overall 6 fundamental rights, and as per actually previously there were 7 fundamental rights, but as per the 44th Constitutional Amendment Act, right to property has become a constitutional right. Okay, so here the 6 fundamental rights are: right to equality, that is from 14 to 18, right to freedom, article 19 to 22, right against exploitation, article 23 to 24, right to freedom of religion, article 25 to 28, cultural and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedies. Okay, right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies. All these 6 fundamental rights are mentioned in the Constitution. So, these fundamental rights are the basic rights which every citizen needs, and these are guaranteed under our constitution. So these are essential for his or her existence and development. So this concept is inspired and is taken from USA's constitution. Okay, under that Bill of Rights, fundamental rights were introduced in Indian Constitution. Okay, as per USA's Bill of Rights, India has also inspired and introduced fundamental rights in our Constitution. So now coming to the fundamental duties. Originally, fundamental duties are not present in the Constitution, but as per Swaran Singh Committee recommendations, the officials also found the need of these fundamental duties and introduced them under 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act and included Part 4A. Okay, Part 4A in Constitution, and its article is 51A. Okay, so here how many parts do we have in the Constitution? We have 22 parts. And what is Part 3? Part 3 deals with the fundamental rights, and Part 4A deals with fundamental duties. And what about Part 4? Part 4 is about directive principles of state policy. Okay, and the other question is, under which Amendment Act right to property was taken out from the list of fundamental rights? It is under 44th Constitutional Amendment Act. Remember this, guys. So the next is coming to this fundamental duties. These are the core duties that every citizen is expected to perform. Okay, so let's look into this part 4 of fundamental duties, 4A. See, under 51A article, fundamental duties, it shall be the duty of every citizen of India to abide by the Constitution and respect its ideals and institutions, national flag, national anthem. That means we have to respect our Constitution, our ideals and institutions, national flag and national anthem. Next is we have to cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom. Okay. Next is to uphold and protect sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India, to defend the country and render national service when called upon to do. All these are our fundamental duties. And next is to promote harmony and spirit of common brotherhood amongst all the people of India, transcending religious, linguistic, and regional or sectional diversities, to renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women, to promote harmony and brotherhood. And here is to value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture, to preserve culture. Next is to protect and improve the national environment, including forest, lakes, rivers, wildlife, and have compassion for living creatures, to develop scientific temper, humanism, and spirit of inquiry and reform, to safeguard the public property and abjure violence, to strive towards excellence in all spheres of individual and collective activity, so that nation constantly rises to higher levels of endeavor and achievement. And here the last one is who is a parent or guardian, to provide opportunities for education to his child, or as the case may be, ward between the age of 6 and 14 years. Okay, that means we have to respect our constitution, the ideals of our institution, national flag and national anthem. We have to cherish and get inspired from the national struggle for freedom ideals, and we have to protect sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India. We have to defend our country and serve our nation. Next is we have to promote harmony, promote brotherhood. Okay, and next is we have to preserve our rich Indian culture, diverse culture, and we have to develop humanism, scientific temper, and we have to protect national environment, everything, forest, lakes, rivers, wildlife, and we have to show compassion for the living creatures. We have to safeguard public property. And the other one which is newly added was every parent should give education for their child who is between the age of 6 to 14 years. It is compulsory education. So this is also one of the fundamental rights, fundamental duties. So this fundamental rights and fundamental duties are the basics for peaceful and cooperative and democratic country. So here these fundamental rights are the basic rights which every citizen needs, and these are guaranteed under the constitution. These are also essential for his or her existence and development. So this concept is inspired from the USA's constitution, right? So next is overall this fundamental rights helps in protecting the individual rights, and fundamental duties on the other side helps to protect the society and environment. So under the right to freedom, as you have freedom of life and liberty, that is article 21, you can't go on clearing green environment and building factories as you have fundamental rights, or you can't overuse your freedom of speech under article 19, humiliating or dishonoring others. So in that instance, our union law minister advocated the need to find the balance between fundamental rights and fundamental duties. So now, what will be the benefits if both fundamental rights and fundamental duties are balanced? The first is the nature of respecting and protecting others' rights develops. Okay, so media which uses Article 19, that is like freedom of speech and expression, also it should respect and protect others' rights. Okay, and another example is, if see, after a sad demise of General Bipin Rawat, he was dishonored by certain sections of the society. So even that mentality among the citizens can be eradicated by perceiving rights and duties together. Next, it also enhances individual liberties. So, for example, rule of law, that is, everyone is equal before law, is a state responsibility. So, by combining fundamental rights and fundamental duties, people take responsibility to maintain rule of law without external enforcement. Next is ensuring peace and harmony. People can ensure peace and harmony by mutually respecting and supporting each other's culture, ethics, language, religion, etc. There will be no question of inequality if this is maintained. Next is here, if the peace and harmony in the state is maintained, the state can perform its duties effectively, right? It can effectively perform its duties by developing itself in various dimensions. Next is, it avoids narrow egoism. See, as per Mazzini's principle, within the theory of happiness as the primary aim of existence, we shall only produce egoistic men. We have therefore to find a principle which shall guide men towards their own improvement, teach them constancy and self sacrifice, and unite them with their fellow men. And this principle is duty. So, this is about avoiding narrow egoism under this combination of under this balance of fundamental rights and fundamental duties. So, the issues with this are, see, right from birth we get fundamental rights, right? But fundamental duties need, these fundamental duties are needed only when a person becomes capable to perform his individual duties, right? So there is a difference in nature. And the other thing is, without fulfillment of rights to education and duties of respecting others' rights, social justice, gender equality, etc., it is difficult to expect from a person to follow or maintain fundamental duties, right? So something much more initiative should be needed to implement both of them. Next is different legal status. Here both have different legal status, like fundamental rights are enforceable by writ of court, and on the other side fundamental duties can't be enforceable. That means there is a different legal status, and if there is different legal status, there will arise a question like, how these fundamental rights and fundamental duties be balanced. So that is one of the challenge. And next is provide a potential leeway to state from its responsibilities, like protection of rule of law and human rights is state responsibility. Yes, protection of rule of law and human rights is state responsibility. But on the other side, non-fulfillment of duties cannot be given to the state's responsibility, right? We have to, the citizens should take their own steps and their own measures to balance both of them. So this is one of the issue. And the other thing is risk of subordination. See, there will be a risk of subordination under the name of promoting equality. So even that is also there, and vague and subjective nature is also there. So, for example, the noble ideals of our freedom struggle cover a wide diversity and at times conflicting interpretations with other principles. So, there will be a mismatch between all these things, and finally, they might end up in fighting. So, all these are the issues regarding the fundamental rights and fundamental duties. So, the way forward is the state should accept promotion and protection of human rights as the primary responsibility. Next is ensuring the core rights of every citizen. Institutions like legislative, executive, and judiciary should protect human rights and prevent these violence. And next is by deepening democracy. See, it can be done by addressing fundamental issues of inequality, intolerance, etc., and maximizing the responsibility of implementing fundamental duties. And next is by creating constitutional morality and responsibility among the citizens, we can achieve better balance between both of them. Okay, so under Article 29, it says that everyone has duties to the community in which alone the free and full development of his personality is possible. This is one of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So this basic character should be made much aware for the people so that they will be responsible under this